Hello and welcome to Orient Live. My name's Michael Kern. I've got the pleasure of sitting in for Ollie Buck, who can't be with us today. And we've got a great show on the way as we build up to match day here, of course. Birmingham City, the opposition for us today. Well, it might be my first time on the show. We've got two great regulars with us, joining us to build up to this big match. Please say we've got Andrew Butler with us and Jabbo Ibre. Gents, how are we doing?
All good, thanks, Michael. Good to have
Had
you
a good
with
week?
us.
Yeah, very good week. You all good?
Good. Look, Andrew, it's your first appearance this season. Did a difficult start to the season on paper for us. You're going to be the difference for us today. You're going to be the 12th man, lucky charm in the studio today.
I mean, I've been at all of the other games in the stands, and I've not really felt like a lucky charm so far. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it's been a tricky start, but we all knew that it would be, given the calibre of the teams that we're playing against, and on paper this looks like the toughest one yet, so we're going to have to be at our very, very best to get anything out of today's game.
What's it been like in the stands? Fan reaction? Obviously, it's it's always difficult when you're not picking up the wins or picking up the points, especially at the start of the season. But the performances, there's positive to take.
Yeah, the performances haven't really been far off at all, and I think that's probably all the more frustrating, really, to not hold on against Bolton or against Charlton. It's not like you play badly and lose, where you can just go home and just moan about it for the rest of the week. These have been okay performances that we just have had a couple of individual errors that have let us down. Or last weekend against Charlton, losing the 94th minute is a sickener. So yeah, the performances have been fine, if not spectacular, and yeah, we just need to get over the line with one of these.
Massively. Jabbo, my script when I got sent this week said to basically rib you for being late. I couldn't possibly do that last week because that's the first time I met you, so I couldn't possibly do that. But it's good to have you here with us today. We just mentioned that it's a tough start on paper. How important is it not to get too disheartened at the start of the season? Because you come into it off the back of a pre-season, you're buoyed, and then you get the fixture list. It's important not to get too disheartened.
Yeah, of course. I think even as players and as fans, we've been up against a team that sort of won the playoffs finals last season, and then a team that's very strong and have a big budget. So we have to understand what we're up against, and look at the bigger picture. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So as long as we can, like Andrew said, we've performed well. We've just been in it in most of the games. It is about getting over the edge, but we can't be too despondent with what's going on, because there's a bigger picture at hand. And as long as we can get through these games and people can get up to speed and we don't pick up any injuries, we'll take it as it comes. But as a player, you want to win, you want to do your best. So boys will go out there and give it their best shot, and hopefully we can come up with something today.
We know how difficult it is in the EFL, especially in League One. Today's opposition, former Premier League side. Some would say unlucky to get relegated last year, despite a difficult season. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. But what are you both expecting from today?
Really, really tough. I said to Jabbo earlier when he came in that this is possibly our second hardest fixture on the fixture list, and the first hardest fixture when I looked through them was probably going to be Birmingham away. So Birmingham have spent a hell of a lot of money. They've got great experience. The only place which is lacking really in kind of like an unknown is with their manager. But their manager, Chris Davies, speaks so well, so clear, and with a lot of passion in terms of his coaching methods as well. So I've been impressed with him so far, as Birmingham have dropped. But yeah, we'll talk about them a little bit later. But the way that they sleepwalked into this division it was remarkable.
Yeah. How about for you, Jabbo?
Yeah, again, they spent a lot of money, and all the press is going to be about them spending I think almost £10 million or over £10 million. A couple of players to sign for £1 million plus. So with all the noise, you're going to expect something. But it's 11 men in each side. On the pitch, anything can happen. If we're up for it and we play, at our best, we might be able to get something. And especially when you play teams earlier on, they're still trying to integrate, they're trying to find their rhythm. So maybe we've caught them if there's a right time to catch them, maybe this is it.
Exactly, we've got that home advantage for us today as well. Right, loads coming up on the show for you today. But first of all, let's get some post-match and pre-match thoughts, should we say, from the gaffer, Richie Wellens.
Gaffer back in action on Saturday at home against Birmingham, a team that I think most outsiders expect to go on and win promotion. What kind of challenge will they give us?
One of the most difficult. Obviously, they're only 3 games in, 2 league games, but you can see straight away that they've got, for the level, really good players. I actually think for the Championship level, they've got really good players. So probably didn't expect to get relegated from the Championship, but maybe it's a reset for them where they can win every week and then go back up to the Championship and obviously use that winning momentum to try and be successful at that level. But it's never that easy. It's a tough league, but I mean, I think they sign a centre half for a lot more than what my entire budget is. So just on a transfer fee. So it kind of like puts in perspective the kind of finances that they have, but they are a massive club. They're well supported and a big club, so they're well within the right to spend whatever their money they feel right to get back to where they belong.
They're a new look squad, and obviously there's a new manager in there as well. From what you've seen so far, where do their strengths lie?
They can mix it. They can build up with a back 4, build up with a back 3. They've got a load of rotations, clever football players. If you get the press wrong, or you get a mid block wrong, they can play through you. For me, Ethan Laird at this level at right back is kind of a cheat code, if I'm being honest. He's a good Championship player, so he's top level for League One. Alfie May, obviously everybody knows, aware of him, in and around the penalty area. But they've got a lot of clever footballers. Sometimes when you watch a new manager come in and it's totally different, and you're trying to play and you're trying to do rotations and combination play, especially on build up, it can look a bit messy at times, and it takes a period of time to get it spot on. But you can see straight away that they've got coachable players, good players that are taking on board what the manager wants and can cause teams a lot of problems.
There we go, the thoughts of the gaffer there ahead of this one. Well, let's bring you that all-important team news then, shall we? How do the O's line up this afternoon? Well, it's just 2 changes from last weekend. Sweeney comes in for James, who of course went off with a knock last week. Aggie drops to the bench. Galbraith comes in as his replacement, which means Kelman starts up top. Gentlemen, what do we make of the starting lineup today?
Yeah, interesting to see Aggie drop to the bench, giving Charlie Kelman that opportunity to start up top. It looks like Jamie Donley will play out on the right hand side of a front 3, and Galbraith in the number 10 role, Ollie O'Neill there on the left. The rest of it kind of I think is pretty much as we would expect at the start of the season. I think the key thing is, someone like Jamie Donley coming into the team, played last weekend as well, but we've obviously not seen loads of him, but it comes so highly rated, and yeah, it looks like he's going to be more like an inverted forward. He said when he signed for the club he can kind of play everywhere. He's played left, even played like left back for Tottenham under 21s, but he's now kind of right of a front 3. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we can take the game to Birmingham. I mean, yeah, like as Richie Wellen said in his pre-match, Birmingham will love possession. They'll kind of take the game to us, and we just got to match them pretty much in every area of the pitch.
Yeah, I think we just have to make our moments count, because last week against Wickham, I think they almost had 75% possession throughout the whole game. So, when we do get those breaks, we do get those moments, we have to show that quality. And in Donley, we have that, because watching him last weekend, he's got a great weight of pass, he's got good vision. Some of his clips from his that we'll obviously see a bit later on. But yeah, he's a player that it could be a day for him, to excel in a more advanced position today.
Massively, we'll see how things shape up. If you're going to be watching the game with us this afternoon, it's available on live stream outside of the UK and Ireland. The new EFL broadcast deal does mean that all of our league games will now be available to live stream outside of the UK and Ireland during the 24-25 seasons. Unfortunately, the domestic live streaming is no longer available due to the new broadcast agreement, but selected games like today are available to watch on Sky Sports Plus in the UK. Overseas fans, you can buy a live video match pass for today for just £10 by heading to leightonorient.com, where overseas subscriptions are also available. So hopefully if you're overseas, you're going to be joining us and heading over to watch the game live for you as well. So it's going to be a good one today, and obviously we're very much looking forward to getting stuck into that one. Right, something exciting for you now. We're going to head pitchside, something that we're going to be doing quite a bit on the show for you this season, to hear from former O Terry Howard.
Terry, second home game of the season this afternoon. It's Birmingham, so another big test. What What kind of challenge are they going to put to us, do you think?
Well, it's the ultimate challenge in this division. If you look at the signings that they've made over the season, over the close season, spent an awful lot of money. It doesn't really happen in this division much. Usually it's loans and free transfers, but Birmingham have kind of really gone for it, and today will be a very, very tough test.
Psychologically, it has been a really, on paper, difficult start for us. We've obviously had the 2 defeats so far, and we've been unfortunate in both games. But psychologically, where should the players be at the moment, do you think?
Well, I think many of the boys that were here last season, we had a similar sort of start, didn't we? You know, we lost to Charlton. We lost our first 2 home games out here to it was Portsmouth and Stevenage, and we bounced back from it. So I would like to think that the boys that were here for that, you know, they can draw some sort of strength from the fact that we know we can bounce back from a poor start. Today would be a very good time to do that.
So when we played Bolton last time in the first home game, it was a bright summer's day. It's not quite the case today. When you're the underdog, these sometimes the conditions that can play into your hands a little bit.
Well, it's proper football weather today, isn't it? You know, I think both teams will enjoy the fact that it's cooler. Pitch will be very slick today. Should be some good football. I don't see it as an advantage or disadvantage for any side. I think both sides would just appreciate the fact that the weather is kinder to run about in.
And just very lastly, the last time we hosted Birmingham in the league, it was an August day as well. Again, it looked a bit brighter than what it is today. I know you didn't play in that game, but you were in the stands watching. So what are your memories of that one?
It was a fantastic team performance, similar scenario to today in the fact that we were very much the underdogs that day. Birmingham, big side in that division, you know, they're not, in all honesty, they're not a third-tier team in their setup and their structure and their history. The boys put on a fantastic performance. It's going to take something like that today. I mean, everyone's got to be really on their game today. Hopefully Birmingham don't bring their A game, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not a glorious summer's August day today here in Leighton, but you know, it's football conditions. Who likes playing in blistering sunshine when you can play in cold, wet wind and rain? Right, time now then for our product of the month. And Jabbo, you've been saved here because I was trying to get one of these in the studio as your punishment for being late last week and to make you model it, but unfortunately we couldn't get one up to the studio in time for this. But this is our Leighton Orient Superstore's product of the month. It's the brand new Wyvern Quarter Zip Polo. Offers a blend of smart design and casual comfort and is priced at just $32.99. You can head online to get yours now. It's a shame, Jabbo, you'd look great in that.
I think it'd bring out my eyes. I love that. Show maybe next time.
This could be the new feature. We'll do full shopping television. Jabbo comes from out round the corner in whatever outfit of the day. Love that. Right, let's turn our attention then back to today then, because our latest recruit, Jamie Donley, made his debut, of course, last week against Charlton. When he was in the game, really impressive, really good to see. Jabbo, just your initial thoughts of him last week?
Yeah, I thought he was comfortable, he adapted well. I mean, it was a tough game in the heat, the conditions, and obviously being a London derby had a little bit of spice to it. But I thought he acquitted himself really well. He showed good vision and a really good weight of pass. And, you know, that could be vital today, and as he seems to be a bit more advanced today, so that could be crucial to the moments we may get in the game.
A promising young player. There was another former Tottenham player who came here on loan, wasn't there? Mr. Harry Kane. Obviously some big boots to fill for him, but obviously a real testament for Leighton Orient that a player from Tottenham in their junior setup and their academy wants to break into their first team, appreciates the standard and the value to come into a League One club and play.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it at some point, and obviously for him to not have to probably leave home or leave his current house, staying local, and it's good for us as a club to be able to attract these kind of players. It's obviously comes as part and parcel of being a London-based club, but then looking down the years as well. I mean, you mentioned Harry Kane, but we've had Andros Townsend, Tom Carroll on loan as well from Spurs. The first thing I got about Donley was from a friend who supports Spurs, and he said he's a Phil Foden-esque player, but pulls the strings like Kevin De Bruyne, which is probably a little bit hyperbolic.
High praise there. No pressure.
A little bit hyperbolic, and you're obviously amazed that he wasn't using Spurs players as comparisons. but he's comes very, very highly rated, and yeah, hopefully he gets enough minutes under his belt, but also shows what he's capable of. Because at the end of the day, these young players, when they come on loan to clubs like ours, they need to prove themselves. Because if you can't prove themselves at this age in League One, then at best you might get a Championship move if you're then moved on from your parent club down in due course. But obviously this is far in the future, but he'll be looking to impress over the course of the season, I'm sure.
Well, let's take a look at him in action as well. We got some footage of him playing for Tottenham, but also from his debut last week as well. Jabo, from your perspective as a player point of view, coming on loan like this, it's an opportunity for him to seize, isn't it? What's the opportunity for him here? What can he learn?
I mean, it's about being around men, coming away from sometimes, under 21s football, and being in a dressing room where, it's not necessarily about developing. It's about sort of like a bit more serious. It's a bit more people's livelihoods and aspirations of a whole club. And to be around it, to be around that energy is fantastic, and it will help you grow. And you can learn from players around you. You can watch people's habits, how they prepare, and I think it's vital, and it just shows the confidence that Tottenham have in sending their players to Orient, because they know how successful some of them have been and have come back, obviously, to Tottenham, and have grown again. So he'll learn a lot from it.
Yeah, they're massive. Of course, his debut last week, Andrew.
Yeah, and he was bright in points. Obviously, quite like a lot of our team, we struggled to get in the game at different parts of the game. So too early to judge for sure. But obviously what we've seen and what he's come to the club with, the reputation that he's had, should hopefully stand us in good stead. I mean, we've seen these. The highlights again around the boardings. This is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You can see the name Brisbane Road because Spurs women play here. I just wonder if that played a part. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he just saw these signs saying Brisbane Road, Brisbane Road, and so when the offer came up, maybe he was like, "Yeah, I do fancy it there." In fact,
I think as well that it's incredible testament to the club that a player of his calibre wants to come and ply his trade here and get used to that. Jabo, what does he add to the team? Obviously, we spoke about him there as an individual and what he could bring, and Phil Foden / De Bruyne. But from a team dynamic as well, a player of his calibre coming in, the skills, what does he offer the manager?
I think he offers that youthful exuberism. I think sometimes, when you come as a youngster, the shackles are rough. You want to come in and impress. He's not going to think about what Birmingham have done, how much they spend. He's coming from Tottenham. I want to start my career. I'm going to express myself. And in moments like today, he could be vital. And I think that's important to have. When you're a youngster, you just want to play. You want to enjoy. You ain't thinking about certain things. That as you get older, you think about, should I play that pass? Look at some of the passes, his vision, his confidence, and when he came in his interview, he was very confident, he had a bit about him, and that's going to be important to see today.
It's very interesting also, just finally on him, is that what we've done is add another young player to the lineup. You look at our lineup this afternoon, I mean, it's incredible how young these players are, which may not be may not stand us in good stead for the season. You'd like to think maybe a bit more experience might be needed, but Charlie Kelman, 23, 24, Ollie Neal's only 22. Jordan Brown, despite him feeling like he's been around for ages, is still also only 22 or 23. Obiero too, and Galbraith. It's an incredibly young team that we've got, and we've just added a 19-year-old into that mix too.
Fabulous. It's going to be good to see how he grows and develops over the course of the season. Now, of course, he starts in the midfield today. The man starting up top for us, of course, is Charlie Kelman. And you never see, there might be a little bit of an assist on the cards and some goals for him today. So let's hear his thoughts ahead of this one.
Obviously, we haven't got any points on the board yet. But obviously, everyone in there is still feeling positive. I mean, we haven't had the easiest of starts. Bolton, Charlton and Birmingham. If you said to me at the start, they're the three teams you'll start off playing. Obviously, it's a nice experience, but it's a difficult start. So, it's not about beating ourselves up, it's about moving on to the next game. And, we're feeling confident, We might not have the biggest budget in the league, but we can make it intense. And like I said after Bolton, as soon as we step across that white line, it's not about budgets, it's about 11 men against 11 men and, you know, give it all and see what happens at the final whistle. Positives we take are our intensity and how we play and how we work as units, but obviously there's still room to improve, and we know that. We know we can keep getting better. I think we're at probably 65-70% of what we can get to. Just you know, the next few weeks we'll get up to match fitness, proper match fitness, and really, you know, start hopefully running all over teams. But now we just got to keep focusing, take the positives. We've been on the front foot, we've been aggressive, we've been creating chances, so just taking that, and, you know, eventually as football knows, the momentum swings, and hopefully we can take that and start putting points on the board. Personally, it's nice being back. It's always nice to, you know, for the fans to sort of, you know, give you plaudits, but at the end of the day, that's not what matters. What matters is 3 points, and that's all we play for at the end of the day, is to get up the table, and we know the quality that we have in the dressing room, so for us it's just putting the pieces together, and when it does put together, I back us against anybody in the league. Birmingham on Saturday, you know, big budget, good players from the league above, but at the end of the day, we're here for 3 points. You know, we're trying to make Gorgon Group Stadium, we're trying to make that a fortress. So for us, it's just making it difficult to play, you know, making them frustrated, making them sort of realise that they're in for a game, and then giving their respect after the game. You know, we know they can cause us problems. You know, they've got quality up the pitch. Alfie made 23 goals last year, quality all over. But for us, it's just that we know we'll have our pictures, we'll have our game plan, and if we execute that, then there's no reason why we shouldn't win the game.
Well, good to hear from Charlie Kelman then ahead of this one. Let's have a look at our opposition today then. Birmingham City, their manager Chris Davies announces an unchanged lineup from their victory against Wycombe last week. Some good players in that Birmingham side, Jabbo.
Yeah, some very good players, and, you know, we spoke about them. We know about the team and some of the new signings, but in both their games, league games so far, they've gone behind. So if we can take some positives from that, can we capitalise that on that this afternoon? We know they're going to be strong, they're going to be organised, they can play, they can mix it up. They've got some, you know, some genuine threats, especially in Alfie May, who we all know about. But again, look, a bit what Charlie Kelman was saying, you know, give them the respect afterwards, but, you know, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our best, and, you know, that's the attitude we need to have.
Yeah, of course, sign of Alfie May from Charlton. 2 goals for them so far this season, their top goal scorer. He's going to pose a threat today.
Massively so. So he's got three seasons in a row of 20 league goals or more for Charlton and then for Charlton. And now he's got 2 goals in 2 league games already so far this season. He's a real threat, like a kind of a classic. I know it sounds obvious, but just a goal scorer. He's a striker who puts the ball in the net, and the goals that we'll see from him, especially the ones this season, is just him like poachers. He's just there at the right place, right time. I mean, I always come on here and talk about strikers when I've got one of Orient's best ever sat next to me. But Jabbo knows how to talk about strikers, but it's like, almost that thing that you can't even be taught, that right place, right time thing.
Yeah, of course. He's very instinctive. You know, he seems to draw to areas inside the pitch, and even the goals he scored so far this season, you know, that's him. You know, someone who's come into the league at 23 and has already scored 119 goals already. To his credit, you know, he's impressive. He's very hungry. You know, he's coming late, but he has that hunger, and he chases, he harries, and then gets the fruits of his labour. So credit to him, but maybe we don't want to see that side of him today.
Well, we can have a look at some of his goals here as well. So that Jabba, just talk us through about it. What makes him so good?
I think it's just a lot of it's just his hunger, his appetite to be there. You know, some strikers do their work and then switch off, but he's there. He wants to be in the box. He wants to get on the end of things. You know, he's always alert. He's bright. He doesn't just whack the ball. He caresses it. He thinks about it, and he's a bit confident, isn't he? He's just like
confident to take a touch there while the keeper's closing down the defender and still put it away as well.
Yeah, very, very composed. You know, he doesn't rush, he doesn't hesitate, but it's the appetite. He's hungry, and I think when you come into the game a bit later, you lap it up, and you see him week in, week out. Even at 31, I think he is now. He had the appetite. He's on it, and you know he's going to pose that threat. He's not going to give defenders a chance.
What do our defenders have to do today to stop him doing that?
I think they need to be really alert, and you know, and pass them on. You know, don't just rest on your laurels. Keep alert. Look behind your shoulders. Make the gaps kind of small. Don't allow them too much space, and when it comes to ricochets or rebound, you know he's going to be waiting, so we need to be fully aware.
Yeah, well, in the studio here, we can hear the fans getting excited outside. Just final thoughts ahead of kick-off then. How do we see this going today, Andrew?
It's going to be really tough, but kind of every player has to have their best performance of the season so far. Like I said right at the top of the show, that the performances have been fine, but not spectacular. But hopefully just the fact that Birmingham have come to town means that we can just lift ourselves, and quite often we do.
Yeah. Jabbo, we want to start on the front foot today, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, we're going to be on it. Charlie Kelman sounds up for it from his interview, and, you know, put our best foot forward, we've got a chance. Definitely.
Nice. Amazing. Should we do some score predictions?
No.
Come on, Andrew. Don't sit on the fence and get splinters. Come on, score prediction.
Right, we'll win 2-1.
2-1, Jabbo?
Yeah, I'll go 2-1. 2-1 Orient win.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a cracking afternoon. If you're joining us on that live feed and you've got your pass good to go, hope you enjoy this one. And we'll hand you over to your commentators for this game then, our usuals, Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
To a permanent deal. Their first win came last week at Wycombe Wanderers, and the Blues unchanged. But Matt Hiscock, there are two notable changes for the O's, and we welcome back Ethan Galbraith.
Yeah, we do. Straight into the lineup this afternoon, but a surprise missing out is Dan Ajay. Be interested to hear what the issue is there. I'm sure he must have picked up a knock. He misses out. He starts on the bench, and Tom James, well, we saw him hobble off at Charlton last weekend at the Valley. No surprise, he is absent from the 11 this afternoon as a squad in total. Jaden Sweeney comes straight in for him.
So it will be interesting to see who will play behind Charlie Kelman in the O's attack. I think it could well be James Donley on the right.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think the suggestion may be that it will revert to what we saw last season with the four at the back, of course, the two holding midfielders and then the three behind Charlie Kelman. But we'll wait and see how they shape up. Looks as though Ollie O'Neill will start as expected on the left-hand side. Galbraith may be